So the other day on Tinder.
Better?
Yeah. So
just tell me your Tinder story.
So I was talking to this guy on Tinder, and I was like, okay, like cute. He's like a year younger than me, but looks a bit younger than that.
Right.
And I kind of like couldn't really figure him out at first. I was a bit, does he have ADHD? Like she was on the spectrum of something.
Right.
As we all are.
Yeah.
And then he was kind of doing me a lot of voice notes right off the bat.
I don't like voice notes.
I'm not a massive fan, and obviously as a gay person have hated my voice until I started doing a podcast, and then I just kind of got used to it.
Yeah.
So then eventually I do him a voice note back, and he goes, oh, I really like that you have this like deep masculine lad voice. You bitch.
Has he ever met any other people? Go on.
But I'd kind of said to him, and then obviously I've read that and I'm a bit like, I don't consider my voice overly feminine, but I don't consider my voice masculine.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I just think it's somewhere in the middle, maybe leaning slightly away from masculine.
A neutral voice. It could be one or the other.
Gender neutral.
Yeah.
The voice,
non-binary.
yeah, the voice is given non-binary. Yeah. So I had kind of said to him, I just was a bit like, what are you expecting from me now at this point? I'm thinking if you want this like masculine, like rugged lad, then that's not really me.
Yeah.
And I kind of was thinking, might have to like step in and manage these expectations.
How?
Huh?
How are you going to manage the expectations? So they'd be like, oh girl, I'm dying to see Wicked. I'm holding space for Wicked. Like, how are you going to...
No, I was more just thinking like, I mean, you can always just outright ask them and be like, look, if you're looking for... would just say it. Like, I'm so straight up sometimes. If
you're looking for a masculine man, that ain't me.
Go away.
Get out.
Yeah.
Barking up the wrong tree.
No, but sometimes I just think if you do want to say something and it's getting to the point where it's like, I feel awkward saying it, sometimes it's just easier to just kind of say it in like a blurty way.
The vibe as well. If you go over there and you think he's expecting like someone's going to sling him around the room, which you actually might do, but maybe in a slightly less masculine way.
Oh, she was flung.
Yeah.
She was flung.
Yeah.
So then anyway, I didn't have to do that because he got ill and then just kept like, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. Like, I hope you feel better. And then
he got ill. Like, did you knock him off or something?
She was about to blow my cover off. No, he just got sick and said, oh, I'll message you in a few days. And then, you know, a few days went past and he goes, oh, sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I'm still really sick. And then, but then I would be like, my impression was he wanted me to come forward and be like, and be messaging him with it. Like, oh, how are you doing? Are you okay? How are you feeling today?
Oh, you thought he wanted a bit more push from your side.
Yeah. And I'm like, I haven't met you yet. Why am I going to do that?
Not that fast.
We just haven't met you, that's all. You know what I mean? It's a little bit presumptuous, honey.
It's a bit like when people want to message loads in the meet up to meeting you, I can find it a bit off-putting because it almost like then once you get together, what you're going to do?
I think we've said this before, but I don't mind that because I just think if you're kind of with the right person, if your personalities are compatible, then you've always got stuff to talk about.
Well, were you in this were you looking to date or just shag?
This was dating, and then and then when he pulled up with all of that shit, I was like, maybe it is just a fuck. But it was funny because I won't tell you the full story about this guy, but I basically ended up, this was a different guy now, ended up having, sorry, did you want to recap on that one?
So the first one's dead.
Maybe, who knows? Like, I kept it cordial, and then I just eventually never heard from him again. Yeah. Well, do you know what? It's not giving very masculine or grown up to me, is it?
Okay, so the next one.
Yeah. It's now the big builder's boot is on the other foot, isn't it?
Why is it whenever we have to say things with like 3 B's in a row, it makes us go like mad?
I couldn't think of the name of it, the Timberlands, but yeah.
Brazilian.
Brazilian.
I listened.
Not Brazilian.
There was something like we said before, like big Brazilian butt or something like that, and then there was big black. BBC.
Oh.
The TikTok meme, not the
Okay.
Go on.
Yeah. So there was another guy who I'd spoken to a few weeks before this. We actually ended up getting into an argument before we'd met.
About what?
So he was kind of getting on my nerves anyway. So it started off with him asking me what I was up to. I told him that I was putting my bed together. So then he's like, "Oh, a guy who does DIY, that's extra sexy points." And I was like,
what?
Extra sexy points? Like
DIY? Was it like an IKEA job as well?
Well, I was putting the bed together.
With your little Allen key.
Relax. The bed is from Amazon, if you must know.
No Allen key.
It is a temporary bed, but yeah.
Cardboard.
So and then I thought, do you know what? I need to nip this in the bud right now so that he knows that I said, look, yeah, okay, I'll put together a bed in a couple of hours when I've got the instructions. I said, but I'm not pulling out the toolbox and throwing up some shelves on the weekend. So then he's like, I was like, just to be clear, with a laughing face. And then he's come back with, oh, and here was me thinking I'd just be sitting in the corner of the kitchen eating snacks while you put like the whole kitchen together.
Whose kitchen are we talking about?
Ours, mine and his.
Oh.
But also, like, why are you as a man sitting in the corner eating snacks when I'm doing fucking hard labour?
I'm passenger princess, I guess.
Yeah. Anyway.
So you got into a row about that? Or was that?
Well, no, that was kind of like what annoyed me, and then that kind of like got my back up a little bit because I was like, you're pissing me off. Sitting in the fucking
your fucking flat pack.
Sitting in the fucking kitchen eating your Doritos while I'm here slaving away.
You've already envisaged like a miserable marriage. Like that's like a 40-year marriage when someone gets stabbed with a butter knife or something like that, and you're already there like, don't fucking think I'm gonna do that for you.
Yeah.
Right.
Literally. So anyway, cut to the chase. It come down to him. I said to him, he said, oh, let's meet. Do you want to grab a coffee? And I'd already seen on his profile that he doesn't drink. So I'm like, well, I would suggest getting a drink, but you don't drink. You're suggesting getting a coffee. I don't drink coffee. So I kind of said, look, you don't drink and I don't drink coffee. Like, is that a lifestyle deal breaker? And then he's like, no, I think you can get along with anyone if you find the points in common.
Right.
So then I was like,
putting together their furniture. He's going to sit there and have a coffee while you put together the furniture.
Well, I think he just meant like you can find common ground with anyone.
Right.
If you look for it. So I was like, right, okay then. So what about if I told you I was doing meth every day? Do you eat?
No, you took that from 0 to 1,000 very quickly. Oh, you don't drink coffee, I don't drink. What if I was doing fucking meth? Like, were you in a particularly like aggy mood that day or something? It feels like a lot of these like jumped off pretty quickly.
Well, not really, because I didn't actually like retort to him sitting in the kitchen. I was like still giving him the benefit of the doubt.
But that doesn't even seem like something you need to retort to. It's just like,
no, I didn't.
Cutesy chat. I don't know.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I didn't, because I was like, okay, you're being annoying, but like it's not for me to.
I feel like this was set up to fail from the beginning. You already had your back up immediately.
But it wasn't just that. It was like he'd said like 3 things where it was like he was like the cutesy little husband, and I was like, oh my god, grow some fucking balls. Like, how is that sexy?
I don't drink. I don't put together my own furniture. I like
what
to
do
eat
you
snacks.
Yeah, so it kind of just like went on from there. But I did it quite politely. I was like, look, I just think that it's a little bit naive to say that like deal breakers don't exist.
Right.
I was like, obviously they're there for a reason, because you can't get along with everyone or you'll just be swiping right on everybody. which I feel like is true. And then he came back like super sassy. But I think because I was saying it all, I mean, maybe it's coming across sassy now, but I think because I was saying it quite a calm tone in my head at the time.
In your head.
Maybe it didn't come across that way, but then he really took it to the next level, being like, well, I'm not naive. Maybe you're high maintenance, darling, and all of this. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. Who the fuck you calling darling?
Oh, no. The thing is with you, you're very forthright and direct, and I think if someone read that in the wrong mood or the wrong way, it could come across as narky.
Yeah, and he honestly, even like, as I read it, I was like, it is fairly kind of direct, but it wasn't.
He probably just thought he was being cute and like flirty. And you were like, now listen up. I'm not coming over to screw nothing but your arsehole.
Listen, if a therapist sat me down and was like, that came from a place of self-sabotage,
yeah,
I would say, do you know what? Fair enough.
Right.
Shouldn't have been sat on the kitchen counter then, should he?
Shouldn't be.
He should have been bent over it. And then listen to this bit. This was golden.
Is this a voice? No.
No, he just went. I can't like whatever had gone before, and he's gone because I said like, oh, I was just trying to touch like an adult to resolve it, whatever. And then he goes, you've missed the opportunity to just unmatch me, baby cake. So
baby cake.
So I said again, I'd rather take the chance to communicate like an adult. You obviously would rather continue to be sassy. Seems like a great choice for a 41-year-old. And then I waited for him to start replying, and then I unmatched him.
I knew you were going to do
and
that.
I thought,
that is such
fucking
a move.
eat it. Eat it.
Move. When you start firing up your fucking reply and then it just disappears, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh! But the crux of this was masculinity, basically, because he was expecting you to come over again and be like, in your mind, you thought he wanted you to be like super manly. I don't know what that came with an Ursula tit wiggle, but
yeah, and I just thought it's just not me. Like,
right.
Yeah, I will obviously put together furniture and stuff if I need to, if I have the skill set. If I don't, I'm not sitting there googling like the skills of the trade. I'm phoning the trade in, and the trade's gonna do it for me. What do you mean?
It just, I don't know, because like it makes me laugh that like what is like. Is that masculinity? Someone like putting together someone's furniture for them, or do you like? Is that the expectation? Because I had to think about it today, and I was like, I don't think I actually know what masculinity is. He says, wearing a skirt.
Clearly,
but yeah, like I was thinking about it, is like, what does it mean to me? And aside from things like, oh, chest hair, a beard, or something like that, I was like, what does it actually like? You know, typical sort of like visual markers. And I know like that they don't actually mean masculine, but I don't know what masculine actually means anymore. Like, what does it?
I feel like if we're talking about true masculinity,
yeah,
it seems like confidence, being able to admit when you're in the wrong, like not like being able to communicate clearly because you're comfortable in who you are, so you don't have qualms about, you know, admitting when you was in the wrong, or you don't have things about, oh, I can't say this and I can't say that, because, and not to say like that is the crux of it, but I also think like, you know, taking care, like having care for your family and people around you. I associate like protection and, you know, things like that with masculinity. I know for women, a lot of them can factor it in with like providing as well.
Well, that's the thing, because I was trying to think of like, is like how are masculinity and femininity different? So then when you're saying like, oh, that this means like being confident in what you speak about, admitting wrong, then that to me, I'm thinking, does that mean femininity is the opposite of that? Or like, and I know that's not what you're intending to say.
No, not
but
at
I'm just
all.
thinking then what separates
No,
those
you're
two?
right.
Aside from visual markers like silly things like long hair that we associate with femininity and pink and stuff like that, and then because, you know, women are providers, women protect and stuff like that, so that's why I was thinking about it, because I had to sit down and I was like, what does it actually mean anymore?
So providing, I would say, is typically more of a masculine trait than like a feminine trait. Like when women are in like their divine feminine energy, it's not about providing for a man. It's about, you know, just like being the goddess and accepting it.
Right.
Obviously protection, women are protective because they're mothers. So that's kind of like a natural instinct.
But does that mean like a masculine person, a man, can't be a divine god and like accept someone providing for him?
No, that's massive beta energy to me.
Oh, I thought you like a masturbator. No.
Oh, because I said massive before it. Yeah,
massive beta.
Yeah.
I guess for me, because like the way I think about it is I kind of try and think of everything as equal. So obviously, like I know what I think of as masculinity as like hot visual markers, because I have said in the past I think I'm attracted to what would be more traditionally masculine visuals.
Yeah, that's what I would call like surface masculinity. Yeah.
But when I'm thinking about like what it actually means in terms of like a concept or how a person is or like what they are, the things that I would think of as like positive masculine traits are also things I would associate with positive feminine traits. And I guess I didn't really think about the providing thing because I didn't grow up with a dad.
Yeah.
So I've never seen men as providers either. Like my mum was the provider. And it wasn't like I have this thing against men. Now I'm like, oh, they don't do nothing for me. They're all good for nothing. It's just, I'd never seen a man doing that. So it's never occurred to me as a concept that the man is the provider and that's a tenet of masculinity.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like there can be like lots of little things that make it up as well. Just say, for example, it's like kind of a silly, like frivolous thing, but when you're going on a date and the man's like, I'm going to take you here, that's like quite a masculine thing to do for the man to say, this is where I'm going to take you, to take the lead and to...
But it's interesting to me that you say the man, because that implies like you're the woman. I just think of
it's just easier in this context that we're talking about.
As someone being assertive, which I think is a nice quality in a man or a woman. I generally, I only have dated men, but again, I don't think of it as a gendered concept.
I think that's fine. I think it's down to like perception. I think some people are going to see of it like that. And when you talk about things that are masculine and things that are feminine, I think you kind of have to look at like what's traditionally seen as that and like what is stereotypically seen as that, because where else does it come from?
Yeah.
It is just a concept.
It is a concept.
Like everything in life, really. What are we really doing here?
It is hard because when you mentioned the thing about like gay voice in the voice notes, I remember like initially like on the podcast when we done the old series, when we had to listen to them back, I used to think, oh no, it sounds so gay. And I used to think that as well when I would do interviews when we worked at QX and I would interview someone, you have to record it and listen to it back to like transcribe the interview. And I used to hate doing it because I would think, oh my God. Not all of it was just about my voice. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, that nervous laugh, you sound like such a prick. But like some of it was like, I thought, in my head, it sounded lower than that.
Why does everyone? It sounds different to everyone.
Yeah, why did? But I was like, but it's almost like there's like a lot of more sibilant S's, and that's apparently like a marker of gay voice. Like there's like the more sort of like hissy S. Like so when
it.
So when
lispy.
No, because lisp I always think of like
yeah, like Alvin Robinson.
That's a Will and Grace reference, just Sarah.
Also known as Mrs. Lazyface.
That's what I think of as a lisp, but like, yeah, the lispy voice, the sibilant S, I always think of that as like the gay voice, and apparently that is. And there's like studies into why gays have gay voice as well. But it's apparently to do sometimes with like making yourself like less.
It's like AI. Why do gays lisp so much?
Hey Gemini. It's apparently like about something to do with like sometimes they're trying to make themselves like less obvious or less strong voice to be less noticeable or less aggressive sounding.
Great job.
Yeah. If you've ever seen a pissed off fag in a Starbucks, you know they don't not sound aggressive.
Also, I'm like, you didn't sound aggressive anyway with your high octave voice.
Yeah.
Nobody's threatened. You're good.
But apparently there's other things. It's like gays like elongate their vowels as well, or they put stresses on different words.
Hey.
Yeah. Or like, I don't do that. Like, you know, it's like more, there's more emphasis placed on different areas.
Okay.
But again, like how it... Yes, exactly. Like stuff like that. Do you feel like you have gay voice?
It's a... It's a different...
My kettle whistling.
Very kettle, actually. I don't know. I wouldn't say so now.
Right.
Sorry, just had a little frog in my throat. Let me carry on talking in my normal voice. I wouldn't say that I feel like I do now, but I feel to be considered gay voice, it kind of has to be a little extreme.
Yeah.
Can you get past that if a man has it?
That's a good question. I think in the past it has sometimes put me off. And again, like I said, like I don't know why. I do like a deeper voice.
Yeah, and that's
and I like if
fine.
someone speaks clearly. When people speak quiet, actually, my biggest turn off is quiet speakers. When people speak too quietly, it drives me fucking mad. Because I'll be like, "What? What's that? What'd you say?"
Does that drive you more mad than people that talk too loudly?
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, because I'd rather know what they said than be like, "Sorry, what?" When someone's like, I'm like, "Sorry, what was that?" And I associate it with people talking under their breath.
Oh, see, I
like
think
trying to say something.
I'd just take it as
saying
permission to ignore them. I'd be like, must not have been important.
No, I'm like, "What was that? Do you want to say that again?"
Bearing in mind, I currently live in a house where it's extra loud all the time, so I'm just praying for somebody to talk under their breath once or twice.
No. I like it. I just like the constant noise and arguments. I like, you know, having an argumentative conversation with people.
Okay, but back to gay voice.
Yeah, sorry. Do you modify your voice?
Maybe for like the first voice note, and then the second one
It slowly gets higher.
Yeah.
Why?
Not even higher, but just like, yeah, just a little less like off the rails.
Off the rails?
It starts off like a bit more confined, a bit more
And
restricted.
you start putting in the flavour.
Hey girl, so anyway, today at the salon.
I notice it in like taxis, or sometimes with like service people or delivery people, or sometimes like at bar, like not so much now, but like when I used to go to like the barbers and hairdressers and stuff like that, I'd be like, all right.
Yeah,
like,
barbers
again,
I
would
understand.
feel it was almost like sometimes it feels almost like a protective instinct. It's like you don't want to flag anything up in an environment where you may not be safe.
Yeah, I guess so. But also it's like you just kind of want them to see you as normal as well. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like
it's normal, my darling.
I don't know.
She stayed in a skirt.
Yeah. You tell me. Strung up like Shibari, coming in here in a skirt.
I thought you were about to rap. Strung like Shibari, riding on a Harley, wearing a little Catholic skirt.
Not the little NSFW haiku.
That's very masculine, that little shriek as well. Actually, it's a weird time to talk about this because I just done like a photo shoot in lingerie as well.
Okay.
Did you? I don't know if you saw it. So I did it a couple of weeks ago with a photographer who saw me at Halloween.
What colour were they? Oh.
Like,
No, just like
what colour were they? I see so many shoots. It was like a red lingerie set.
Oh, from Halloween.
No. Well, I'd worn that the year before for Halloween. I seem to have established a pattern of going out in knickers at Halloween. But I was wearing something else on Halloween, and the photographer saw me at the party and messaged me on Instagram and was like, I thought you looked really amazing. I do stuff like this in photography, so would you like to come and do a shoot? And again, like with the Shibari thing, I just sort of thought, fuck it. Like, in for a penny, in for a pound. We only live once. So
like the Shibari thing, I'm going to ask you. Was the photographer attractive?
He was, but I didn't have sex with him this time. This time. But it was, I felt like I think I overthought myself so much the night before that I ended up giving myself insomnia. So I hadn't actually slept when we did the photo session. I turned up being like, sorry, I know I look a bit haggard, but I haven't been out clubbing or anything like that. I just sort of like didn't.
I just have mental problems.
But I think I'd like got myself stressed about it subconsciously because I had this paranoia in my head as well that like the photos might come out. I'd seen his work and it was really beautiful, but I had this paranoia it would come out like a gaydar transvestite, like circa like 2007, you know, and like they're always called like Lucy. Sat on like a bed, a photo taken by like an old disposable or something like that, and they're sat there in like a shake and go wig and a really like crumbled like.
It's funny because we all know exactly who you're talking about.
Exactly. And no disrespect to them weekend transvestites as well. There's a lot of them about in Manchester, and I really enjoyed them. But
no disrespect to them non-passing nonnies, but.
I did have this worry about it, and then I had to be like, why am I worried about that? And thankfully, the photo shoot came out really well. I think it was all in the lighting.
Okay.
But I think even in the run-up to it coming out, I was like, this could look very like Readers' Wives. Like I was... But I sort of like, yeah, it did. I was thinking, then I had to say to myself, like, why are you worried about this? Like, it's a photo shoot. You've done it because you want to try a new experience. It's fun. Like... I thought I looked hot on the day, and I must have thought that I looked nice on Halloween to go out like that as well. Whether people agreed or not is another thing. But it was odd to me, like, that it did... Because I used to do, obviously, like, the cabaret thing, and you've seen the costumes that I wore for that. They weren't exactly, like, mass or flattering. So I don't know why I had such, like, a mental obstacle about it.
Do you think it was the fact that it was to do with like the lingerie, or were you just like worried about how the pictures were going to turn out?
I wasn't worried. I think the lingerie was a part of it because I think also I had this thing in the back of my mind almost like, oh, are some guys going to think like, oh, no, transvestite.
Right.
And then I was like, but why is that a problem? Because if they think like that, they're not worth being around. But it was like still like a weird obstacle in my head.
And also I think that's just like, it's such an easy line for people to say like, oh, do you know what, like if they don't like you for you, they're not worth it. It's like, well, all right, Sharon, I'm just trying to get a bit of fucking cock, do you know what I mean? Fucking give me
that's what I mean. I didn't want to like I just wanted to get a bit no, I just didn't want to like
I know you, babe.
Yeah, I didn't want to like ruin my pool of possibilities, if you will.
Of course. But
just
also,
because someone's like, oh, I saw your like fanny out photos on Instagram wearing that pair of knickers, not for me, mate. Like, then I was like, well, again,
I just feel like if they like everything that you've done up until this point, a little like lace, little lingerie is not going to push them in the other direction. Yeah,
true.
Also, I feel like I've seen you in lingerie before, no?
Yeah,
on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And again, that's why I was a bit like,
what's a big old deal? What's a big old deal?
It's just a penny.
It started off as like a bird, and then it turned into Cher. She was just waking up.
But yeah, it was a really, again, like I said, like with the Shibari thing, it was a liberating experience. But I did feel like I had a lot more like hang-ups about it mentally in some ways, about almost like exposing it.
I mean, I think it's just going to be like an ongoing thing for gay men. Like there's times now where I think, oh God, are you going to like alienate pools of men by doing certain things?
Yeah.
I think it can put like restraints on your personality because you end up then just putting yourself in a box to cater for other people.
Yeah, and like getting closed off to other opportunities and stuff.
How do you mean?
Well, if you don't express like it or explore things that you might be interested in exploring for fear of like people thinking you're too femme, then you'd start closing off opportunities and avenues to yourself in your world and your experience. So then you're making your world smaller.
Yes and no. I feel like you're making like your authentic world smaller because when you then go and put on all the lingerie, you're also closing off opportunities too with all the like really hot mask for mask men. But that's like fine. You would rather have people be like, you'd rather have, I feel like 5 people be like, yeah, I want you in that fucking Anne Summers G-string. Than have like 20 guys be like, yeah, I want you when you're like lowering your voice an octave. Do you know what I mean? It's just so much better to have attention for who you really are.
Yeah. My question is, why not both? Because mine is like, the way I see myself is I can do both. So you can have me on one day and I could be
right
masculine. And then I could be like, you know, trainers in a cap or whatever, you know, like, you know.
Trans.
No, but you know, like, I guess guys that are into like traditionally masculine looks, they like things like rude boys, porn and things like that, or trigger. That's what I'm talking about.
And you can be somebody that delivers it. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I see people on social media all the time where I'm like, yeah, you can definitely deliver masculine and feminine, as I could. You've seen me as Barbie, but it's just about the other people. Like, if the people who are that if other people are that hell bent on it, are they going to see past the feminine aspects of you to see to the masculine side?
Yeah.
But I also do think, like, you'll be surprised how many men don't mind that element of femininity, especially if you're trying to attract a more masculine man.
Well, yeah, that was the like actual takeaway from it, is that when the shoot went live, I've never had so much like interaction.
Really?
Yeah, it was mad, to the point where I actually had to put my phone on do not disturb because it was fucking winding me up, because it was like coming through constantly.
Oh, you've broken into the fetish market.
Yeah.
Oh.
So OnlyFans starts now.
I'm thinking, get me a pair of suspenders.
Just go on Amazon. Buy yourself a body stocking.
Yeah. Pillowcases with it. Oh my gosh. Well, we are coming towards the end of today's episode.
Oh God, again, yeah. I always get surprised when the end creeps up.
It just seemed like fake emotion. That was all like, oh no.
Oh,
Oh no. What stage is it?
Jesus Christ. What stage is it?
One. Let's hope this doesn't age badly.
What?
So we are coming towards the end of the episode.
Cool.
Oh.
Oh. What?
I thought you'd be sadder.
Oh. Oh. I don't know what you want from me. Have we named it yet?
We have.
Oh, we can finally say the name.
I think Loose Lads.
Loose Lads.
Oh, I love how we're like confirming that we've
Yeah,
settled on
I
the
know.
name right
We
now.
hadn't actually
Yeah.
confirmed it.
We're pregnant. The baby is they, them. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you for listening or watching Loose Lads. I've been Anthony Gilét, and you can follow me on socials at Gilet Slays.
And I'm at IamTomDop. Thank you for watching or listening, however you do this. I don't know.
It's her first day.
It feels like it. I don't know what's going on.
I was a little bit hyper last week. I just actually cut out a load of stuff. I was
Really?
like, yeah.
I think it's because I've been away for 3 weeks. Haven't recorded for 3 weeks, and I just got all this like nervous energy, or I am just demented.
Jury's out.